calibrate, and it'll calibrate your accelerometer. And this accelerometer is a very nice thing, and I think it's really quite accurate. So you can get this app in the marketplace. It's called Bubble, and you can see the exact degree. There's a bubble thing, and if it's not right, you just go up here and you hit calibrate, and it calibrates it. So that's always a nice thing. Speaking of marketplace, let's take a look in there. There are a ton of apps. People keep on saying that the Apple Store is better. I think it's a little bit better, but this comes pretty dang close. This is better than any other device. So you can see the Ustream broadcast right there. These are just kind of the featured apps. And then you can go to applications, and then you kind of go into this root system, and so let's go into health, and then calorie counter maybe, and it sorts by popularity or date. Or we can go down to tools, and it's pretty fast browsing too on the nation's largest 3G network. So you can get flashlights, stuff like that, Bubble, like I said earlier, My Verizon, retro clock widget. That's what I have. I haven't really tried any more of these. Oh, Wi-Fi analyzer. That's not a bad one, but like I said, the Wi-Fi chip in this is rather weak. I also recommend getting an application called Task Manager. This is not native to the device. You actually have to download it. And what this does is fix a serious flaw in the Android operating system. What it does is it allows you to kill processes or tasks. That's not supported natively. And running apps in the background will kill your battery life. I mean, I put this in my locker one day, fully charged with a couple apps running. I could not turn the device on later that day. So you say I have all these things running. I can just hit kill all tasks, and it'll kill all of them, including Task Manager. So I definitely recommend using that. And like I said, there is a main flaw in this device, and that is the battery power is not good. I mean, it's on the verge of not being acceptable almost. So I recommend going into your settings menu, definitely keeping off Bluetooth and Wi-Fi if you can, but also going to location. And if you don't need GPS, uncheck that too. And then there's also an app in the marketplace that will turn off 3G and convert you to just 2G if you need that. And that is definitely a major flaw in this device. The dialing pad on the device is very responsive. You can see you can just dial people right up, and it's very responsive. But what you don't see coming is the call quality. Again, the call quality is on the verge of not being acceptable, especially compared to a high-end device or a landline even. The call quality has a hissing sound in the background for you on the Eris or the person on the other end of the phone call. So the battery life and the phone call, the call quality is not the best. Also, just little things. You can't put the home screen on landscape, which that's not really a big deal for me. And yeah. So if we hit this little arrow down here, you can see that little arrow, it will bring up the apps page. And most of these apps were in here pre-installed, including Google Talk and Gmail. That's the other thing. You need a Gmail account to even use this phone at all. So that's kind of interesting. The other interesting thing is I use Google Maps on the computer, and I find Google Maps amazingly helpful. But it's not the same Google Maps, and it doesn't have multi-touch zoom, as you just saw there. It kind of goes all out of whack. You have to actually hit these buttons right here. But what I mean by having a weird Google Maps is where on the computer, Google Maps would know what the name of a road is. On here it just says unknown road, and the directions are really messed up. It's a different Google Maps, and I don't like it. Anything else in here? The music app, and next to Pandora right there, is very strong. I would get rid of your iPod, actually, because this is just as good. We can start playing songs. I'm going to stop that because it's probably copyrighted. It plays pretty good songs, of course, with the 3.5mm audio jack. Shazam is on here. Stock application, Ustream Viewer, Ustream Broadcaster. YouTube is native. Weather, and then voice recorder, voice search. The voice search doesn't work all that well. Call. And then it's like, sometimes it calls somebody, and then sometimes it does a Google search for call, or call will call or something. And so it doesn't work very well. Still not there yet. And if you want to get rid of some of the icon shortcuts, would you call them? Because that's for Windows or desktop computers, but I guess I'll call them shortcuts. If you want to get rid of a shortcut, just hold it down, and you can see there's a little thing down here that says remove. Just drag it down there and hit remove. To add an app or a shortcut, go to the home page, or the one of the 7 pages you want to go to. Open up your apps list. Hold down that app. What did I get rid of? Pandora? Hold down Pandora and put it back in there. Boom. So that's always nice. There's tons of widgets in the marketplace. If we go back there, there's a battery meter widget, which I found ate up my battery. There's games, of course. There's no jelly car or anything good, so the games are yet to be very good on this device, which is kind of sad because it has so much potential. And then let's say you get an app and you want to uninstall it. Of course, there's an app just dedicated to uninstalling it, or you can just use the built-in app uninstaller. But this includes every single app, even the Android operating system right there, and it takes a little while to compute up. But once it does, it's very responsive, and you can see how responsive this phone is when scrolling. I mean, it's really quite smooth, and it works pretty well. Most of your apps that you've downloaded third party will be at the bottom. It's not alphabetical or anything like that, so you can see all that stuff. And you can almost scroll from the top to the bottom. Actually, I just did right there. And then you can also use this trackball, which doesn't go very fast, but it's good for scrolling through web pages, maybe. It's not really good for anything. I don't even know why they have it. You have the beautiful touchscreen that scrolls so well, and then you have this little thing that goes one at a time. So, yeah, that doesn't work very well. And, yeah, so I'm going to turn the lights back on, and I'll take a couple pictures, and I'll embed those into the video so you can see how good the pictures are.